slide out of the egg. Chicken intestines. Starting to do the parasailing. Oh, it's really good. I am still in the Philippines, one of my favourite countries in the world, and it's time for me to try a very famous Filipino delicacy. I have been in the beautiful island of Boracay in the Philippines, and I have been blown away by its beauty, with its white sand, green, vibrant landscapes, and crystal clear waters. During this Philippines trip, I have battled intense storms in the amazing, busy capital city of Manila, enjoyed breathtaking views of the smallest active volcano in the world in Tagaytay, and swam in the deep, beautiful lakes of Coron. As well as all of this, I have eaten some of the most incredible Filipino food, from adobo to beef kari-kari, whilst enjoying the classic Filipino dessert of halo-halo. But there was one thing I was yet to try: Filipino barbecue and the infamous balut. Whilst in Boracay, I saw a man with a yellow box and a bag of food, and it was here that I could get my balut. I didn't just want balut, however. I wanted to try a variety of Filipino delicacies, so I headed down the beach to a little food stall to see what they had available. Once I told them what I wanted, I continued with the balut man and got myself 3 eggs and some other little treats. For anyone who isn't sure what balut is at the moment, don't worry, that will all be covered very shortly. Back to the barbecue, there were plenty of options, and it all smelled incredible as it was being cooked, with some of the kindest Filipinos preparing it for me. I'm in Boracay in the Philippines, and I'm sitting inside my hotel. Obviously you can see it's a great view, and I'm going to be having some traditional Filipino street food. So in front of me I have lots of different things. So in the center, this is probably the most infamous street food in the Philippines, and it's called balut, which is basically a fertilized duck egg. So very soon I'll be able to crack it open and you'll see, hopefully not too formed baby duck. It should be covered in like a white, that's the type that I've ordered, but I guess you never really know until you crack inside of it. And I've also got something called Isaw, which is intestines. So these ones here are baboy isaw, which is basically pig intestines. I next to it have pig ears, the sort of square ones with the corners. You can see the little ears. I have chicken isaw, which again, you can see it's intestines of a chicken. This here is just some normal chorizo, in case I need something a bit more normal for me. It's the same on this side, but I think one side we have sweet, one side we have spicy. I've also got some chicharron, which is pork intestines but fried. And I also have some siomai, which is again a bit more of a regular food for me, I would say. I think it's Chinese siomai, but there might be a Filipino version here. And also, this is siopao chili asado. So even though these two are both Chinese, they're both very typical of Filipino food. Again, within the Philippines, you have lots of cultural influences. I mentioned in Manila, you have the Spanish influence, and with the food, you get a lot of Chinese influence. So the first thing I'm going to try, because it's right in front of me, is the isaw baboy, so the pig intestines. I think this might be the sweet one, but let's give it a try. Oh, it's really good. It's chewy, but in a good way. The sauce is actually really tasty, proper barbecued, sweet taste. You wouldn't know it was intestines. I think if you had that at barbecue anywhere in the world, you'd be happy with it. I could eat about 10 or 15 of them. They're so light as well. So yeah, definitely no problems, that first one. It's genuinely really good. I'm not just saying that either. So obviously as well, because the Philippines, I've got to wash it down with a San Miguel. I think most people in the country that aren't from England think San Miguel is Spanish, but it's actually not. It's a Filipino beer. In between each little bit, I'll have a little sip because, you know, it's so good. Okay, next thing, I'm going to try the pig's ears. I'm anticipating it might be gristly, but I don't know for sure. Let's have a go. It's a little bit harder, yeah, a little bit gristlier, but again, it's just porky. That nice sweet sauce on top of the barbecue flavour. Little hair from the ear. But again, nice enough. I prefer the Isaw, the intestines. I've had a couple from the sweet section, now I'm going for the spicy section. In the Philippines, they love different types of spicy food, so I'm hoping this is going to be really tasty. This is the chicken Isaw, so the chicken intestines. This is a bit more obvious what it is by looking at it. It's really tight and swirly. Let's have a go. That's got a very different flavour. It's a bit tougher in texture, I'd say, and you can see it comes off quite as one long piece, like an intestine would. In terms of the flavour, it doesn't taste like chicken particularly. I wouldn't know what it tastes like. The chili's really good with it, and you see the little hole with the intestines. It's tasty, but I think I prefer the pig one. With the pork ears I mentioned before, I'm gonna have a taste of the spicy one now. It's called pork mascara, and basically it means ears and face. Again, exact same with the gristle, but this one's a bit of a kick of spice to it. Okay, next thing I'm going to try is the chicharron, which again, without trying, I imagine it's going to be like a pork scratching or like the crackling on a big piece of pork, but we'll see. I'm going to try it with this suka, which is like a vinegar that comes in these little tiny packets, and I've heard that the Filipinos pour it inside and then take a bite out of it. So you've got a few drops going in, and then you're meant to swirl it around, drink a little bit of it and take a bite. So that's what I'm going to try to do the classic way. That's a strong vinegar taste, really strong. Spicy kick to it as well, I think the vinegar, that's strong vinegar tasting. Maybe it should be a little bit crispier, which normally I think it is, but maybe because I bought it an hour or so ago, maybe it's softened a little bit. That seems perfect with the beer. I feel like I'm in a pub. Yeah, I could happily sit all day with that and that. Perfect. Such a nice view while I'm eating all this. This time of night, they're just starting to do the parao sailing, which is different than parasailing. So I think the word parao is a mixture between arao, which is sun, and then para as in the parasailing. So it's as if, you know, you're sailing towards the sun at this time of night. With the waves being calm now, they always start around 5, 6 p.m. and then it's a night thing. Anyway, to get back to my food, because I'm still hungry. So I've had siomai before in England, so I'm not sure if it's going to be the same or it's going to be different with it being in the Philippines, but I'm going to have a nice piece now. It comes in like a sauce, which normally in the English ones doesn't come in a sauce. So I'm not sure whether it's going to be a spicy flavour or sweet. I'll find out now. It tastes like what I would know. I can't put my finger on what that sauce is, but again, it just tastes really good. I love them in England, I love them in the Philippines. And now I can start to feel the heat from the chili. And I think, still from that before, that's a deadly vinegar chili sauce. Normally with these, I should mention, you get these with the vendor who gives you the balut. But you don't normally buy this, it comes as part of the package deal. So I'm going to start with the siopao. It comes with this bit of paper on the bottom. So if you do get one, make sure you tear that off first because you'll have a mouthful of paper. And then tearing it open, and inside it'll have that chili, well for my flavour, it comes with this chili asado inside. To balance out that chili, you have this sweet sauce that goes with it. So I can add a little bit here, and then I can bite it all together. I've never had one of these before, it's just how I heard you eat it. Let's have a go. It's got that Chinese flavour. It tastes like a big bao bun, if you've had a bao bun before. That sort of fluffy texture, the same taste, but again it's got quite a gentle chili inside. This is a lot more tame compared to the other bits of chili before. It's delicious. If you like Chinese food, this should be right up your street. Again, sweet, spicy, yeah, good textures, it's amazing, really nice.
As the night was drawing in, it was time to turn on the lights and have the legendary Balut.
This is the main event, I would say. I'm probably a little bit apprehensive, I think, with the balut egg. And it's got a weird sort of history with me, because I remember when I was studying in university, my final exams, when I was meant to be revising, I was watching Gordon Ramsay do different cooking shows randomly. And I always remember that he was in, which I'm guessing now was the Philippines, and he had this egg, which is basically a baby chicken inside of an egg, which I later learned to be a balut egg, which is what this is. So ever since then, I've always been thinking and had this sort of in the background of my thinking about trying it one day. So apparently, you have to hit it on the side that is empty, because the chick is going to be in one half of the egg. So I'm gonna try and tap it and see if I can see which is the empty side. That sounded empty, I think. That sounds heavier. And then, like you would with the normal egg, you've got to start peeling open, and there would be this membrane on top, which you've got to peel through, and you can start to see that the membrane has water in the top. Keep peeling away, and the egg will start to show inside. But again, I should point out, this is a very, very traditional Filipino thing. It's meant to give you lots of energy, and the sellers used to go onto public transport to help people in long journeys, 6-7 hour journeys. They would come on and people would buy them, and it's meant to give them the energy to go through their journey with lots more energy. A little bit of the soup is leaking out, so I'm going to try and just sip now and see if I can find some of it. Yeah, it's got quite an eggy sort of taste to it, which obviously it's an egg, you would imagine that, but it's still quite strange. It doesn't taste bad, it's just like a big boiled egg at the moment. Again, you keep peeling, more membrane comes off, starts to slide out of the egg. And that's what we have inside. So because I ordered the one with white on it, the chicken's sort of inverted in on itself. So it just looks a bit like a veiny ball, and inside you can see that's where the soup is. I'm going to have a little sip of now. And you're meant to either add some of the salt or some of the spicy vinegar inside. So I think I might add a tiny bit of salt just to give a bit of extra flavour, and then mix together and then have a little sip of this. It tastes good. With the salt, it's good. Now, there's parts of this egg, and there's a stone inside, which it might be tiny, so I might not even really notice it. There's parts that you don't eat. Well, you don't have to eat anyway. I don't think it's too bad if you do eat it. And then you have the chicken and then the white attached to it, which is sort of the nutrients, I guess, for the chicken. Because I had that vinegar before, that very, very spicy vinegar, I think I'm going to try and stick to the salt. As I bite it, it should come apart to the goodness, I guess you'd say. This is the chick side here. So I'm going to dip it into a bit of salt in the bottom of the bag. Let's see how it goes. It's like a chickeny egg. That's a big mouthful. Has a bit to wash it down with. Has a bone of some sort. It could be a beak. It could also be a leg. Interesting. Last little bit, which again, sort of like a yolky part again. Looks okay. So in terms of the flavour, it's fine. Like I said, it's just a mixture between chicken and egg, just mixed together. They're big. I think my mouthfuls are too big. Trying to get equal pieces at the same time. The chick first, then the white, and leave the stone. But I think I overcooked it a little bit and a bit too much at one time. I'd say the thought of it is definitely much worse than the taste of it, because it looks a bit gross, if we're going to be honest. But taste is fine, and I think if you come to the Philippines, it's something you've got to have, because it's not going to kill you. If you have chicken all the time, this is just a little bit straight from the source, I guess you'd say. So it was fine. All the food's really good. I'm glad to try all of it, and I would have it again. So it can't be too bad.
I really mean what I say. Balut tastes good, just like the Isaw and the other barbecue food. Don't be put off by the way it looks, and enjoy one of the more unusual world food delicacies. Being open-minded is so important, especially in the modern day, and experiencing cultures like here in the Philippines is a gift. Everybody should come to the Philippines. Check out some more of my videos and subscribe to the channel.